Alright, it is time for day 8 of the War Machine mod. Now, unfortunately, there have been some rebalances. Scorn and the Binder Com no longer cause the interaction where it deals non-elemental melee damage. So Scorn no longer has that big slap that we would see normally, which still feels bad, but testing it against smaller mobs, it still does one-shot smaller mobs. It's just not going to do the thing that it used to do, unfortunately. They changed Converge. It now deals 4 times current health pool. They rebalanced Helios and Ruin, which I haven't tested yet, but we'll have to see how that goes. They changed Focused Fire. Instead of giving you 2 bullets on a crit, it now only gives you that 1 bullet back on a crit, which also I understand but feels bad. They rebalanced Shock Dots because he felt like it was the strongest damage type right now. So instead of dealing 100 to 150% bonus damage, they now deal 60 to 80% on flesh shields and armor. And then Blight Phoenix now affects Phase Lock and Converge's damage. Each level of Blight Phoenix boosts the 2 skills by 6%. And then Scorn was reworked. The description was reworked to make it more self-explanatory. The skill bonuses on the class mods for Maya were changed, and he reworked how Maya's Terracom works. And then yeah, we do have that shock dot thing there. And then apparently corrosive dots were giving people bullets, which is what it was supposed to do. But that caused people with corrosive weapons to essentially have infinite ammo. And so they changed that to where now whenever an enemy is taking a corrosive dot, it increases your mag size and reload speed. So that's pretty cool. And then they fixed Powerhouse's description. They fixed Emergency Circumstance again because it wasn't draining shield when it's supposed to. They made it to where Kinetic Reflection showed the right color on class mods. There was a multiplayer problem. They fixed Hatterax's fight, which is good. On our second fight of Hatterax, he's realized that it's kind of a problem. So Slag acts like it does in vanilla in that map specifically. So you can slag Hatterax and then you can go ahead and go for your damage from there. And then in multiplayer, there is a note that you can only have 1 Maya as of right now because there are just so many effects and things happening with Maya that multiple Mayas tends to just crash people's games. So that is kind of a thing. And then there are some beta patch things, but those are all not specific to Maya, and I'm not really running the beta patch, so we're not really worried about that. And then we will go ahead and come in game here. So Legendary Binder Com, now it buffs Helios, it buffs Null Nova, it buffs Fleet, and it buffs Blight Phoenix. And at rank 10 on Blight Phoenix, our Phase Lock and our Converge both deal 60% more damage. Scorn was changed to read a little bit differently so that it does make sense. And its base cooldown is 30 seconds. I didn't realize it was that long. I didn't think it was that long, but I guess it was, or it is now. But if we go ahead and come over here, we probably won't try the Bully Rot because he's a little bit too thick. But if we can go ahead and get the cooldown real quick, like that, just by pressing some buttons, it's not as good. The Scorn obviously is not as good. It's very unfortunate, but it was broken. It wasn't supposed to be doing that. And then our Converge might actually see a little bit more gameplay because it does that. And then of course our melee is still really strong because the melee itself is unaffected. It's just that Scorn Ball was nerfed, which totally makes sense. As a note, the Legendary Binder and the Godfall class mod both still feel like they serve the same purpose to me, which is really odd. But if we go ahead and equip this, Flicker is buffed, Immolate is buffed, Discharge Reaction, Null Nova, and Powerhouse. So this comm wants you to use Maliwan weapons. It's very Maliwan centric. And then once again, the Binder does buff our status effect damage by almost the same amount when we're holding a rapier, and it also provided that melee, and it provided that Scorn big slap that we were seeing. But since the Scorn isn't as strong now, obviously, it's like not even 1/100th of what it was. The Godfall might actually have a better use case, and you could use that to apply a lot more damage, and we could try to use that for a DOT build, which would be cool because DOTs in vanilla aren't very good. We have a legendary Siren. This gives Ward, it gives us Reaper over here, and then it gives us Wreck, it gives us Kinetic Reflection, and Accelerate. So this is a very reflection-heavy sort of thing here. We get a kill skill, we're going to have a massive amount of Reflect, we'll have Deflect, and there'll just be a lot going on with bullets there, and that could make it really good for stacking. And then we could pair that with the Doctress, because I didn't realize just how much health the Doctress gave. Also, it does make you take 50% more damage while you're wearing it, which does suck, but it does provide Flicker, it provides Ward and Sustenance and Life Tap, and it also provides Kinetic Reflection, so there's a chance that we'll take less damage whenever we are shot. But if we look at our health pool while we're wearing it, it was 500,000-ish, now it's 1.3 mil. That's a pretty large difference. And also that means that our Converge and our Scorn and our stuff like that will just deal a lot more damage with this comm equipped. So we could wear it just to have the more ability spammy type of build, and it would probably do us really, really well, so this is cool to see. And then we do have Terra's Combo Pack. This provides extra mag size, it provides a specific damage stat to each damage type. So Burn, Electrocute, Corrosion, and Slag. And then it gives Powerhouse, Accelerate, Mind's Eye, Flicker, and +5 to Quicken. Now, at level 10, Quicken will make your kill skills stay up permanently. For teammates, it won't do that. It'll only give them the normal time boost. But on Maya specifically, at level 10, it will go ahead and make your kill skills permanently active. So Blight Phoenix, Wreck, we'll have like Adrenaline for the life tap, we'll get the mag size and the element effect damage from over here. And then once again, yeah, it buffs Flicker, Powerhouse, it provides to the Quicken, like we said, Accelerate, and Mind's Eye. So that's pretty cool. And I did notice that they took Iridium Sanction off of the main class mods. So if we want to run Iridium Sanction, it does make something like the Cleric feel a little bit more unique, since it is one of the only class mods that buffs it now, and we could use that to really just ramp up our elemental effect damage. Now, of course, that being said, the Godfall comm and the Binders still probably will do comparable. I'll have to like crunch numbers on that to see what that actually feels like whenever we have them equipped. But all of these class mods feel like they have a purpose, which is pretty cool to see. Since we can't crutch on Scorn anymore, it won't be as reliable. We will probably switch over to a damage over time build instead, and we will try to just get our damage stacked as high as we can doing that. So maybe we'll run the Godfall instead just to see what it feels like, because it should buff our damage by a ton. So we'll go ahead and do that. So we have respect over to a Godfall class mod build. So I've maxed out Flicker, Immolate, we've got Foresight. I put 1 point into Discharge Reaction and Null Nova. We'll see if I change that in the future, but those do buff our elemental effect damage and also give us that Slag AoE. We have 1 point in Cloud Kill because I don't really think we need the extra mag size and dot chance from this. And then we do have Powerhouse for the extra 70% gun damage, fire rate, and dot damage. We've got Ruin because Ruin. And then we pretty much spec down Middle Tree. We're not too worried about Scorn, so we didn't get Emergency Circumstance. And we did go ahead and basically build how we did in Middle Tree to get our Agony stacks and the Thought Lock and the Res. And then in Left Tree, it's pretty much the exact same. I really want a Chain Reaction or Kinetic Reflection heavy build here. So we've got Accelerate, Subsequence for the Converge, we've got Focus Fire still because it is nice that it does what it does. We've got Wreck for the Chain React, we've got Kinetic Reflection for the Deflection, we've got Quicken for the kill skill duration and phase lock duration, Echo because movement speed equals more damage is good for 1 point, and then Might of Kronos because the extra movement speed, fire rate, and bullet speed is nice, and the enemy is not being able to play the game is also nice. We are running this with the Infection. once again, because it will provide corrosive and shock at the same time. And then paired with Immolate, it should also deal fire on top of that. So we will basically have pretty much every damage type happening at the same time on enemies, and hopefully that'll feel good, so we'll just have to go test. Alright, so OP7 peak, we've got the Infection on, we're going to go ahead and phase lock a guy, we're going to start dumping into that guy, and our DOT is respectable, for sure, I will say. It's not insane, and I'm still wondering if the binder will make it do better than if we were to just run the Godfall comp. But we could also look for a better Godfall comp, because it's level 71, we're OP7, so I don't know if there will be a big difference, but there might be a difference. Alright, and yeah, being able to spread out these dots is super cool. I would be interested in running like a Flame of the Firehawk, or maybe a different shield of some sort, just to see what that could do for us, because I don't think the Rough Rider is going to do us great overall. The damage is nice for the Converge and the Scorn and stuff like that, but at this point I think just us putting elements out is what we really want. Actually, as a matter of fact, I think we should get a Neo or an Evolution, because the Evolution would buff our elemental effect damage, and that could definitely help us a lot, so we might do that after this run. Okay, we've got Instant Duck, which honestly we prefer that, because Dukinos is a little bit mean usually, so having the revives will be nice. And then the dots are kind of putting in work. Here, I'm still curious. Okay, the Godfall's definitely better for this. Wait a minute. Is the Cleric the move? Hold on, we need a better test subject. I think the Cleric might actually be our best DOT thing. I'm really curious about something. So, our Infection deals splash damage, but there are multiple types of splash damage, the main one being gun or grenade splash. There's like launcher too, but we don't need that for this conversation. So, if this deals gun splash, the weapon status effect damage with 7 out of 1 on Iridium Sanction could go up to 700% more damage. That's pretty good. But if it counts as grenade splash, 1400%. So if it's grenade, this is a lot of damage that we're looking at here with our Cleric comp. And if we compare that to wearing just a Godfall, 500% from here, we get 50% from the Maliwan effect damage, we get like the little buffs it provides to like Powerhouse and Immolate and stuff, but it doesn't buff Iridium Sanction. So the Cleric might still just stack the hardest for DOTs, which is super cool to see. Now, I guess as sort of a note, we only have 258 Iridium, so we are like halfway up this damage buff. So it's only 350 or 700% DOT damage, and it could be over double what we're seeing right now. So I might even go farm Iridium again. You know, just drop our OP level and fight dragons or something. And then just see what max Iridium feels like, because this could get really, really insane really, really fast. I know I probably should have thought of this earlier, but the Pimpernel is a Maliwan weapon, And it would work really well with our chain reaction that we've got going on with most of our equipment. So if we just got a new one at OP10, that could be some really insane endgame gear. So we might have to keep that in mind too. Okay, so we're going to do a minor test here. So we have our Pimpernel, we have our Legendary Siren. Now, the Pimpernel is fire, unfortunately, but... okay, it tries to do the chain react. Also, yeah, we can see by the amount of stacks that we have and the fact that the game is lagging, it definitely did work. So if we had a Corrosive Pimpernel, if it were, you know, OP7, like we are right now, that surely would have been a funny, like, little chain react kill. So it's good to know that we have that. That is available to us. Okay, so the Pimpernel thing didn't work, but what about just a good old infection? Okay, it tries. So probably not that, but it is an idea. Did we kill top turret already? So yeah, OP8, got that, no problem. That honestly felt really, really good. We still need to go get Iridium to test maxed out Iridium, and then also try to get an evolution to just get the supplement damage from that. Alright, so what I'm hoping we can do is we can just walk up to Pirate DLC's vendor, and maybe since this is a funny little mod, we can buy an evolution. And if we can, I'm going to be really happy. If we can't, I will totally understand and be sad. But also I'll understand. Okay, so yeah, we've checked a couple times. He does not sell the evolution. I was hoping he would because funny mod, but he does not. So we will have to try to fight Hyperius at OP8. I don't know if it'll work. And if it doesn't, we're not really going to sweat over it. So Hyperius did manage to get stuck up here, which is really convenient for us. And hopefully we will be able to just lock this in right about now. Yep, there we go. Alright, cool. So hopefully that dropped an Evo. I don't want to do that again. That was very goofy, and we did that really, really poorly. Okay, cool. So we've got one here. So the evolution, it has over double the health the Rough Rider had because the Rough Rider was just level 80. This is OP8. Kill enemy increases status effect damage by 15% and reduces enemy elemental impact defense by 10% within 550 units. It also does provide us some health regen, and also it's an actual shield, and it has built-in elemental resistance because it's an Anshin. So this will go ahead and make us feel a little bit more tanky, and give us just a hair more damage, so that'll feel really good. And now we can go ahead and drop our OP level down to level 80, and we can go ahead and just farm dragons for a little bit of Iridium. Alright, 351. Have I been hurting all of... I've been hurting all of them. I thought... Oh my god. We've almost killed all of them from just shooting one. That's insane. Okay. That didn't take very long at all. We have exactly 500 iridium, which, I mean, that's the limit, so of course. But now, with this class mod, with all of our stuff going on, we should deal 700% more status effect damage, and we should deal 1,400% more grenade status effect damage. And once again, if the infection counts as grenade, that means we get the second buff, which is insane. But even if it's just the first one, that's still like 7 times more damage. So that's really, really cool. So, now with our substantially increased damage, let's go ahead and just try peak. We only need 2 more runs and then we should be done with it. Okay, let's see. That's not bad. I mean, it's not incredible. Let's try like other mobs real quick and see. Okay. He did take a pretty substantial amount of damage there, so that is pretty nice. I'm kind of curious to see how our other dot comms will work instead. Because I don't know if this is doing the full effect it's supposed to. Gotta be honest, a lot of these do feel kind of similar in overall damage that we're dealing. So I can't tell. I'm not honestly sure yet. I do think even though our damage isn't incredibly high, I mean that dot is pretty nice, but even though it's not incredible, it does apply dots to pretty much the entire map that we're looking at, since we have so many chain reaction type of abilities. So, one thing I will say about DigiPeak for the last couple OP levels is that it does start to get really repetitive, since I think OP 8, 9, and 10 all pretty much share the exact same spawn rotations. So, we're going to test out the Retro really quick, because it can do that. Just kind of see how easy it is to just sort of launch ourselves over here. And it is super easy. Okay. I mean, you could do that in vanilla. To be entirely fair, it would take a little bit more effort, a little more skill probably, but you could do that in vanilla, technically. Okay. Storm is actually kind of useful, which is very surprising. Also, OP9. There we go. Cool. So yeah, Storm feels good. And from Binary on that last run, we did get a Diva Stalker. So this is really weird because it shoots non-homing explosive dart projectiles that can't crit, but it's times 7 and it has a decent little fire rate on it. And yeah, as you can see, it's that. So that's pretty fun. It might be a little bit strong though. And just like that, we are now OP10. So, Digipeak takes forever. I don't like Digipeak. And that will pretty much do it for today's plans. So next time, we will be looking at a max geared character. We'll go ahead and get one of those. We will try to put on some equipment. I'll bring this class mod that we have over to that character because I doubt she'll probably have it. And then we'll just kind of see what exactly we can build our late game characters into, because this is really, really fun. I have a couple of ideas. Some of them probably won't work. Some of them might be a little more vanilla. Some of them will be not so vanilla. And so yeah, we'll just kind of have to see how that goes tomorrow. But that'll go ahead and do it for today. So yeah, day 8.